So I was traveling one day. It was early in the morning. I was traveling to South America. And I got on the plane very early. And in those conditions, I daven on the plane. I'd take my talis, put on my talis, my prayer shawl, my tefillin, and I start to pray. Little did I know that behind me sat one of the most vociferous, outspoken haters that I've ever heard. I'd never heard or read language like was being shouted at me from the seat behind me. I mean, the worst curses you can imagine. Threats that I would be killed, that I would be shot, that I would be burned, that Hitler should have taken me. It was kind of scary, I might say. After a while, the guy started pushing the chair behind me, kicking the chair behind me, saying, "Wait till we get off the plane." I was a little bit terrified. And I really would have approached the stewardess on this plane, except for the fact that it was Aerocondor, and the stewardess didn't speak English. But besides which, on the side behind me, there were two people sitting there, a man and a woman, and they scared me even more. I thought, let me just hide over here, take my tefillin off real soon, get finished with my davening, because those two people, I said, if they get into this discussion, I'm probably finished. And I was really kind of shaking, because the guy who was sitting in the back, just behind me on the angle, just sitting in his seat, he looked like he was a giant. So I'm thinking to myself, oy vey, not only do I have this guy behind me, but if I make the wrong move, these other two are going to jump on me. So I'm sitting quietly trying to daven. This guy's yelling, screaming, pushing. There weren't too many people on the plane. And then as I'm watching through the back of my eye, this guy in the second seat gets out of his seat. And he really was as giant as I thought. He was a big guy. And he starts walking towards me. I said, this is it. I'm getting my head handed to me now. But instead of walking up to me, he walks up to the guy behind me, pulls him out of his chair by his lapels. Man, he says, whatever you said to this guy, you said to me, because I'm a Jew. And I said, you just keep your mouth closed. And this guy was terrified. Breathed a sigh of relief. I took a look at this guy. Didn't look like he was Jewish. I thought maybe he's giving me a bump in my side. Maybe he's just trying to stick up for this. You know, a lot of people are nice people. They're sticking up for the weak one. But anyways, I finished davening. I take out my talis and tefillin, and I get out of my seat, and I go back to him, and I say, you know, excuse me, sir, I would like to thank you. He says, don't thank me. He says, it's fine. He says, you know, you're Jewish? He says, I'm Jewish. I said, well, you know, if you're Jewish, I said, would you like to wrap tefillin? So the guy says to me, what's tefillin? I said, you know, the black box. Oh, you mean those black things you're wearing on your hand? Yeah, what's that about? So I tell him, he says, you know, I really, you know, I saw them before, but I didn't know what they were. But, you know, that's the way a Jewish person becomes bar mitzvah. It's like a sign of maturity. God, and I give him some interpretation. He says, yeah, I'd love to wrap tefillin. He says, okay, let's wrap right here, right now.